The second round of the NCAA basketball tournament has 32 teams. What else has 32 teams? The NFL has 32 teams. And with that in mind, I decided to find out what it would look like if all 32 teams in the NFL played in a single elimination tournament similar to the NCAA basketball tournament. And I did do some similar permutations that I'll go through as we go along. But first, I want to show you I'm going to edit the title here of this bracket. I call it the NFL Full League Division Tournament. And here's how it works. All the first and second round games are going to be division games. And there are going to be some fierce rivalries that will also be shown, and they will also be present in here. So without further ado, let's go through this bracket. Oh, by the way, before we get started, all these nicknames and locations are they pertain to the 2014 season, and all the games will be played in the home team stadium, except for the Super Bowl, which will be played in Glendale, Arizona, where Super Bowl 49 was contested. So without further ado, let's get going here. The first division here is the AFC North. And the first team I'm going to reveal, the Cleveland Browns. They'll go up against another team from the state of Ohio, the Cincinnati Bengals. On the other side of that bracket, now we have one of these fierce rivalries here. The other end of the AFC North, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they will go to Baltimore to face the Baltimore Ravens. Next up, we have, now that's the AFC North. Next up is the AFC East. And we have first team in the East, the Buffalo Bills. They will go to South Beach to face the Miami Dolphins. Next up, we have the New York Jets. They will go to Foxborough, and they will take on the New England Patriots. And that is your AFC East. Now let's go to the bottom half of that bracket, or the bottom half of this bracket. Here, let's go to our next division, and the AFC South. We're going to start with the Jacksonville Jaguars, the team closest to me. They will go to Texas to face the Houston Texans. On the other end of that bracket is the Tennessee Titans. They will go to Indianapolis to face the Indianapolis Colts. And that is your AFC South. Now, your AFC West. First, now both these teams have actually changed. They've actually moved since this was designed in 2014. But back then, we have this team was known as the, and actually this one did not move, but we have the yeah, they did, because we have the they're now in Las Vegas, but back then they were the Oakland Raiders. And the other team that moved since is the team that right now they're in Los Angeles, but back then they were in San Diego, the San Diego Chargers. On the other end of that bracket, another fierce rivalry. This one is the Denver Broncos versus the team from they'll go to Arrowhead Stadium and face their big rival, the Kansas City Chiefs. And there you have your AFC. So let's move over to the NFC. First team in the NFC is they were kind of a laughingstock for a while, but they're getting better. The Detroit Lions. They could make the playoffs this year, but remember, this is 2014. They will travel to Minnesota to take on the Minnesota Vikings. And this is the NFC North, by the way. On the other end of the NFC North, we have the oldest rivalry in the books. And we're going to start with the Chicago Bears. They will go to Green Bay to face the Green Bay Packers. Next up, a team that was forced to change their nickname in recent years due to the George Floyd situation and other inequalities that have persisted since. It's kind of but right now they're known as the Commanders, but back then the Washington Redskins. They will travel to Philadelphia, that's Philadelphia, to face the Philadelphia Eagles. The other end of that bracket, another huge rivalry in the NFC East, and this one has shown some really good games over the years. We're going to start with the Dallas Cowboys. They will go to East Rutherford, New Jersey, and take on the New York Giants. Next up, as we go down to the bottom half of the bracket, your NFC South. We're going to start with the Carolina Panthers from Charlotte. They will travel to Florida to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On the other end of that bracket, we have the New Orleans Saints. Their big rivalry, another team close to me, in fact in my home state, the Atlanta Falcons. And that is your NFC South. Now, your NFC West. First, we have another team that has moved to Los Angeles since this was done, but back then they were still in Missouri, in St. Louis, the St. Louis Rams. They will go to the desert to face the Arizona Cardinals. And finally, we have another big rivalry that has kind of escalated over the years in real life, especially since the Legion of Boom. the Seattle Seahawks. And the last team up is one of my innocent favorite teams for no good reason. The San Francisco 49ers. So let me explain why I put these teams where I did. I didn't want I wanted one New York team at home and one on the road. One Bay Area team at home, one on the road. That's the 49ers at home, but the Raiders on the road. Remember, the Raiders at the time were still in Oakland. The Giants at home, Jets on the road. Ravens at home, Redskins on the road. Really, the only place where there's two is because there are two teams in Florida. That's because there are actually three teams in Florida, but one actually is traveling. One actually had to travel. That was the Jaguars. That's why I moved the Jaguars away from there, because they don't have as good a record as the rest of that conference, although they are getting better. But that's why I did that. Now, here's how this worked. Here's how this worked when I did it. Each team played one game in what's known as the division semifinals, and win that, and you advance to the division finals. Those two teams that advance to the division finals, and they will be pit against each other in round 2. And it's the North against the East, South against the West. And like I said in the beginning, all the games will be in the home team's home stadium, except for the Super Bowl, which will be contested in Glendale, Arizona, at then University of Phoenix Stadium. It's now known as State Farm Stadium, but back then it was University of Phoenix Stadium. And I wanted the Packers at home because that is a hard venue to play, a difficult venue to play at, especially when it's really, really cold. So there is your bracket there. And let me go over it one more time. We have the Browns against the Bengals, Steelers against the Ravens. That's your AFC North. Bills against the Dolphins, and the Jets against the Patriots in the AFC East. Jaguars against the Texans, Titans against the Colts in the AFC South. And the Raiders against the Chargers, and the Broncos against the Chiefs in the AFC West. Over in the NFC, the Detroit Lions against the Vikings, the Chicago Bears against the Packers. There's a huge rivalry there. Washington Redskins against the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys against the New York Giants. A lot of stories to be told there. Carolina Panthers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers there in the South, followed by the Saints and Falcons. And in the West, it's the St. Louis Rams and Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks against the San Francisco 49ers. That is your that's your full league division tournament. Thank you so much for following this. I will see you guys later.